Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, the internet is still off at my office, and I am broadcasting from home again, so you will just see the avatar today. But hopefully, we can do what we need to do. So here we go. Thanks for holding on, everybody, and I hope that it's a good Tuesday for everybody. And let's see. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so as oh well, it didn't work. It didn't work. So we'll have to just go to the no. There we go. All right, there. That's going to be a little bit better. Yeah, okay, and we're back. Well, today, bit of a sell-off. Definitely, Tesla's been pulling back as well as Apple. This slide shows that the S&P's up slightly. This is just taken a few minutes ago. Dow Jones is off. The New York Stock Exchange volume is up. Dow Jones is up. It's being led right now by Disney. It seems like some of the tech names. I mean, there's a lot of softness in the tech names, like Tesla. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it moves forward. But right now, we are sort of pulling back a little bit. I think it's a good time to possibly be a little bit careful in terms of where you are in the market, because I do think there is a bit of softness going on. Here is a chart of Tesla, and so that you can kind of get an idea of it. As you can see, it just flashed a huge sell signal, and that's shown right here with the with this moving down directly below the 50-day line. As you can see, I mean, we're still above the 200-day, but this was a big sell-off. Now, it did bounce, as you can see, because it's at the top of the trading range. But when this slide was taken, it's at 704. I do believe that we may see some movement down even from here, possibly getting some support at 600. It looks like it tested it. We'll see what's going to happen the rest of the week, but we definitely are seeing quite a bit of sell-off, and so be careful. Also with Apple, we've got to be careful too, because that is pulling down lower as well. So it's just it's one of those things that we've got to be extremely careful on right now. Just going to give you take a look at the chart for Apple. It too is moving, is moving a little bit lower. So this is not a time, also, to to do a oh goodness. Well, there we go. Come on. Oh, I'm having bandwidth problems here, and I can't seem to reset. So now let's see if we can go back. Well, let's just kill that for today. Let's go to the charts, and I apologize for the technical, but internet is out at my location, and unfortunately, that's making it more difficult than usual to do things. So let's get back to the slides. Okay, there we go. All right, and of course, it's not sizing the. Let's see if it will size correctly. There we go. All right. So let's go with the questions. Thanks for holding on. Hopefully I can get to these questions, and I will be able to do that. Let's look at Neo. Neo has been just, it's also, let's see if I get a cursor here. Hold on. N-I-O, Neo. Yeah. All right, and also, just this sympathetic, just the same as with as with Tesla, it's pulling back very strongly, as you can see. Neo is going down. I think if you're in Neo right now, I think and you still have some profit in it, I would consider possibly closing your position right now because I do believe, it's going to be a little bit challenged here. So here we go. I'm going to take a, kind of look at the action on it today. So let me see if I can move it over. Oh goodness. Come on, let me move. Sorry, my connection is slow, slow, slow. Unfortunately, I'm having to do this over wireless, so I can't get the charts up as well as I'd like to. So let's see if we can move back here. There we go. There. Okay. So now I think we can see. Now I think we can see it better. As you can see, it pulled way back, almost down to 40, but then it's popped back up. It's still got a high relative strength, but with earnings due in 6 days, I think it's a good time to close the position because of the situation with the red bars on both sides. This is a sell signal, and Will, I just think that it probably is a good time to possibly consider. Closing up your position because it's not looking, it's not, until the market gets a little bit more orderly. Because right now, I don't think it's the best time to be holding Neo. All of the techs are moving lower. There's a definite movement into some of the cyclicals, and I did close my position in Square, but I still am holding. Um, I am still my spread in Cleveland Cliffs. It's the only one that I'm holding right now. So I do think the market is going lower. I'm getting all into cash, getting ready for a possible pullback on the market. It hasn't been declared yet as a full-on retreat, but these stocks are showing a little bit of you know, uh, basically, basically a lot of weaknesses. You can see this pulled down here. Also, if you're down more than 7% currently, I think it's a good time to, um, you know, to be out. I don't necessarily think this is necessarily a great time to be buying right now. This is what Mr. Singh had indicated. I mean, it's up to you, of course, but I am seeing a lot of weakness here, and it could potentially get it could potentially get more dicey as we go through. But just I think that with Overstock, it's a good company, but I think we got to be a little bit more careful right now on this. Let's see if I can. Oh goodness, come on. All right, let's see if I can somehow close some of these windows. I am having issues. Ugh, come on. All right, let's see if I can close some of these windows. Sorry about this. Reopen. I'm having some technical difficulties right now. So let's stop sharing that. All right, maybe I can get the charts up again. Let's see if I can. Still working on it. Sorry about this, Will. We'll get to you in just a sec. All right. There we go. All right. Still not letting me adjust it. I can somehow get that out of the way. I don't know. There. Yeah, there we go. Maybe that'll work. Boy. Sorry about this, everybody. I may have to cut it short today. I am having a lot of technical difficulties here pulling up the correct charts. See if I can do it. Okay, moving the. thing over here. Yeah, I have a setup at my office and I'm trying to do this from home, and unfortunately, my office has uh, has screwed the pooch, and it doesn't have internet connection. Let's see if I can reduce it even more. Let's see if I can do it on a very, very small screen. Let's see if, what the minimum is here. See if I can just get rid of that and do this. All right. That will let me. There we go. There. Okay. So now I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's look at Snap real quick to see if we can see anything there. I closed my position in Snap also, Snap and Square. It's moving up nicely. So that is indeed a good thing. That is indeed a good thing. So let's kind of take a look there. Now, there we go. Now I think we can definitely see it. So let's zoom in a little bit on Snap. Wow, it's up 6%. Must have had. Wonder what that reasoning is in there, but it's up 6%. Tremendous, tremendous movement there. Let's see. Just doesn't want to give me those bars. All right, let's see if it gives me a bar there. No. This is so frustrating. Sorry. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can get. No, it won't give me a bar. Okay. Well, basically, it's up tremendously. I question why. It must have had something. Checklist is still really good, 88%. Fund ownership, 195. So it's definitely going up. I wonder what the news was on it. I can't understand because it seems to be bucking the trend here. Can't really give you anything else on that. But let's just go to the weekly chart to see kind of if we've got anything. No, there just doesn't seem to be. I mean, the last buy point was way down here on a consolidation base. Way down here at 18. So that's a long time ago. This thing is just. I wonder what the deal is. It came down and it hit the 2 to 21-day line, and then it bounced back up. So I wonder if that's a short squeeze. Down 6%. I can't give you a good answer on Snap. I apologize for that, but I can't seem to give you a good answer on Snap. But it is up today. So let me just check some things here really quickly. I want to see why that potentially is the case. I am so I'm just checking the stocks that are near a pivot right now, and it's just not giving me any good information on Snap. Let's go to Cleveland Cliffs, CLF. This is one I'm actively trading, and it seems to be pulling up now. Yeah, okay, well that's good because I have a spread on it, and it seems to be it seems to be pulling up properly. So that seems to be good on this one. This is Cleveland Cliffs, so it's a little bit different. We have a buy point on this. Again, this has got earnings in 2 days. It's just an infrastructure spend. I put out a bull call spread on this one, and I should be in the money if I'm over $17. So that's kind of where that one stands as of now. Let's take a question from TikTok, and see if I can give you some good information here. Let's see. Most people. Let's see if I can go to the bottom here. What do you think after Workhorse stock? Let's take a look at Workhorse. WKHS is the symbol for Workhorse, and a lot of the EV stocks have just been taking swan dives, and this one definitely has been the case. It just moved down very, very strongly. Its earnings per share, it seems like right now in the EV space, we're just seeing a whole lot of selling. That seems to be that seems to be the norm here. So there we go. Yeah, it just seems to be a lot of selling going on uh, in the space. Yeah, so I can't really give you a good. I can't really. But here's the thing: the this has violated the 200-day line. It's probably it's probably a good time to sell this. Yeah, it's probably a good time to sell this puppy. I just think that it's one of those things where sometimes it gets to the point where it the market just pulls back. So in let's take a look. I just want to kind of look at the Qs, see how they're trading, because this is the largest ETF that covers the Qs. Yeah, okay, so we're down a little bit here. It seems as if we have moved past a key level. The key level really is 305, but it seems to be holding. So let me zoom in a little bit on this. Oops. Oh, I had it in the wrong there. There we go. There we go. So this is the Qs right now, and basically they have fallen below the 50-day line, but they've pulled right back up. So hopefully we'll get some support there at that at the 50-day line. The market is continuing to sell off somewhat, so be very careful about initiating new positions. All right, Byron, I'm a CLF and I'm holding 100 shares at 16.85. Usually, you recommend selling into earnings. Actually, I think that you want to be holding actually on CLF right now, because I do think I think it is moving higher. So let's revisit CLF. This is Cleveland Cliffs for everybody out there, and it's a very unexciting company, but they are in the infrastructure area, and that as of late has been quite good. So that seems to be an area that the market is starting to favor. So let's kind of take a quick look at that Cleveland Cliffs. Here we go. There we go. All right. So yeah, I mean, I think that you can hold this one into earnings. I have a feeling the earnings are going to be fairly good with Cleveland Cliffs. That's my guess because of sort of what's happening here. We do have earnings in 2 days. I am, as I say, I'm holding a spread on this, but I think you can hold this. Here's what I would do. I would set a stop loss right at about 16. So don't let it pull back too much more than that. But I definitely think you can hold this in. I think 1650 is a good number. And I think that you should be okay on that. Don't let it drop more than 7%, but I think you could definitely hold this one. I do believe that the earnings should be pretty good on Cleveland Cliffs, and it is being favored in as an infrastructure place. So that's definitely something to look at. Now, the one exception is Disney. Disney is a stock I don't have right now. I wish I did. Is Disney. Disney has just done extraordinarily well. It's up $14 today. So let's look at the daily chart for Disney, and and kind of see it's pulled right above the buy zone. The top of the buy zone, by the way, for everybody that's interested on this, the top of the buy zone is 192.50, and we're at 197.81. So we're up $6 today. It's tremendous. There is starting to see a lot of buying activity, as you can see by this volume spikes here. So the question is, can you buy at this point? Well, right now unfortunately it's a little bit extended, but it's not a lot extended. It's a little bit extended. I wouldn't buy this thing above 200, but right now, I mean, you could buy this. I think you'd be fairly safe. But it is extended. It's moved from on a flat base at 183.40. That was the last buy point on this. So it has moved above that. I do think it is viable right now. It's looking very good. It seems to everyone seems to be liking this one. It's only got a 55 checklist, and the ownership is still very good. This is really the a kind of a reopening trade sort of play here. So, that seems to be where this one's at. So, I definitely think you could buy it. It's a little bit extended. There is. There was a buy point. Let's see if I can let me see it. Yeah, there we go. The buy range was up to about 192. It's at 197, so it's about $5 above its buy point, but it's looking very strong. I probably wouldn't buy it at this level. See if it settles back down into the buy range. 195 is about the top of the buy zone. The buy zone goes from a 182.40 up to basically this number here, 190.65. So basically, there's about $7 in there where it's a very good buy zone. Above that, it's going to be a little bit extended, but it's holding up very, very well. So it definitely is looking very strong. And the Dow stocks have been outperforming the Nasdaq stocks. The stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, they've been selling off, and some of the Dow stocks like Caterpillar and Disney have been doing very well. Let's take a look at CAT. Just want to see how that's doing. That's really a reopening infrastructure play, and Deere has also been doing very, very well. Yeah, it's up today too. So, yeah, that's definitely what's happening in the market. Is we're seeing a rotation into some of the more cyclical stocks, and Caterpillar is definitely. It doesn't really get any more cyclical than Caterpillar. So that's moving up nice. No real great place to buy it, but it's got a relative strength of 78. So here's the thing. We got to be kind of careful right now looking at tech stocks. And the reason is because with the potential of inflation, we are going to see the tech stocks probably sell off a little bit due to the fact that they're growth stocks. They don't typically have a lot of earnings. We're gonna see much more emphasis in stocks that have strong earnings. Wells Fargo is on that list. Also Caterpillar, Deere, DE, some of those kind of stocks, Disney, those kind of stocks. So I am pretty much moved to cash. I'm primarily a growth stock investor and primarily momentum investor. So I'm trying to judge the market for momentum right now. But it seems as if right now there is a movement into into the other ones. Let's take a look at Dinesh has a question here. It's a good one on AMC. AMC, is probably the ultimate reopening stock. Of course, the economy hasn't reopened. The question is there potential of a short squeeze on that? Well, let's look at the short interest on it. The short interest currently is astronomical. It's 76% short interest on this. Where the short interest is here on this little box, you can see it. Minus 76%. That means that 76% of the outstanding stocks that they can beg, borrow, and steal are short on this one. So we may have another short squeeze on this one. We don't know. The earnings are terrible on this, and of course they're not doing any business. But we could be getting that ready for another short squeeze. Absolutely, Dinesh. That's a very good question because it's just unusual to have a stock that has 75% of all the outstanding shares for this. All the outstanding shares are basically been sold short. Now, sometimes I'm amazed that they can do this because I don't know how many people will lend those. But the big brokerage houses are primary ones lending it, like TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Interactive Brokers, those people. But 76% of all the outstanding shares currently on AMC are short, and as you can see, it's trading at $7.62. It's up $1.92. So this could possibly, possibly be a tremendous short here. I mean, a tremendous short squeeze. Now, if it takes off for the moon, I think where you want to start looking to possibly put your flag in the sand here on this is right about, say, 10 or 12. I think about 12 it's probably a good area, mainly because of this mark here. But I think if the thing moves above about 12, I think that's where you want to start buying it. And as it moves higher, and the thing on a short squeeze is you as it's moving up, you want to buy it, but then you want to immediately put your slot losses in, move those stop losses up, and then eventually it will pull back, and you will get a situation where it does sell off. So let's take a look. This is the daily chart here. I was looking at the weekly, but basically we may be getting ready for another short squeeze because again, I mean, 76% of all the shares, 76% of all the shares out there are short. So that's a lot of shares to be short. So there's a very good potential over about 12. And what I'm trying to say is that I believe that right about here is essentially the kind of the ceiling. That's sort of where the resistance is, and beyond this, I don't think there's a lot of resistance. As you can see, it's already gone up once to $20.63. So, if this thing, if you want to take advantage of this, a way that you possibly could do it, and again, I'm not recommending this, but this might be, this might be something that you could possibly do. And I really appreciate, Dinesh, you bringing this up because this is a potentially, could be very, very lucrative. So in order to do this, you would basically do this. You would set a buy stop limit order for about, and I'm going to say on this one, I'm just trying to see if I can get the exact price, which I think that you could really do this at about 12. Yeah, I'm going to say on a buy stop limit order for about, I would say about 13 on this one. 13 plus 10, so about 13.10 is where I would buy this. And yeah, so basically set that buy stop limit order at about 13 plus 10, and then if we do get that, if it does go up to that point, this should be a tipping point for it. And if it pulls above that, then I think you could do very well. Now, if it does, if you get a fill at this level, you want to start moving your stop loss up immediately. You want to put a stop loss in, and then if it goes up further, you want to put it in again, and then if it goes up further, you move again, and eventually it'll get up to the point where there will be enough supply, and it will crash down, and then you'll be sold out. Hopefully, at the top at the top here. But the way to do this is with a buy stop limit order. And what the buy stop limit order does, and by the way, on my website at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, I have an example of how to set a buy stop limit order. The buy stop limit order works basically if it goes up to a certain price and it activates, and the activation is for this example is about 13. So I want to put an order to buy it 10 cents higher than that. So as it's moving up and it breaks through this resistance, you should probably get a fill at about 13.10. Now, if you get a fill immediately, and I mean immediately, put that stop loss in at 13. And then as it's moving higher, you want to move that stop loss up. Eventually, it will run out of juice and it will pull back to earth. And then when it does, you'll be sold out. So this is a great question, Dinesh. And maybe this might be the deal of the day. You never know. This might be the deal of the day for AMC. So I appreciate bringing this up. I really do. So buy stop limit order 13 plus 10. That's kind of where I'm looking at it potentially for AMC. Now, this is really not an investment. This is more of a very, very short term trade. You want to buy it as it's moving up, and then as it's pulling back, that's where you're gonna you're gonna hopefully get sold out if you have the buy stop limit. Don't put a trailing stop loss. Don't put don't only a market stop loss if you get a fill on this one. That's a very, very important thing. So so great. Okay, so let's look at the GBTC, and of course this this pulled back heavily, and hopefully we're going to get it's going to be back. I'm still in it because it typically, I do believe that it's going to be it's going to recover here, but it's down $7 today. Just want to kind of show you that chart. As you can see, we've pulled way back below that 21-day exponential. We're still above the 40-day line, and we're still above the 200-day line, so that's very good. Is there a buy point on this? Well, that's going to be tough because the place that you need to buy it is see if there's a reversal off of this line here. This is the 40-day line, and and it's right it's right here. So the question is, where could you buy it off of a reversal? Here's the thing. I would probably buy it if it reverses basically at this level about 36.88. So what I would be looking at in terms of a buy point, a buy point on this one on the GBCC would be, and I don't know if we'll get back to this one, but I'm going to say it's we do have potentially a buy point at at this number here. Let's see. I'm giving you exact price. There we go. Yeah, 36.88. So let me put that up on the screen. 36.88. So that's kind of where I see that's where I see it. That's where I see you'd be able to buy it. Now, here's the thing, and this makes it really doubly hard, because as the thing is moving down, you want to what you want to do is you want to set an alert there. If it pulls below that, then you want to set a buy stop limit order for 36.88. So basically what I'm going to do now at this point, and I want to see whether the GBCC is going to fall, but I'm going to set an alert on it basically for 36.88. I don't know if it will move that low, to be honest with you, but I definitely am going to do that because, and that's right here, as you can see. This is a little mark. I don't know if you can see the mark on the screen, but that's this little mark here. 36.88 buy point. So if it pulls below 36.88 as it's round tripping, as it moves higher, then you want to set a buy stop limit order for 36.88 on GBTC, because that's where I think it may pull back. I hope it doesn't pull back all the way to the 40-day line, but that's the ideal place to buy it, is at that 40-day line. So that's a very good question, and I appreciate it. So let's look next question. Yeah, let's look at this one. VTI. It's interesting. Don't know VTI. Let's look, see if we can see anything for VTI. And that's Vanguard Total Market. Okay, well, this is essentially, the Vanguard Total Market is basically, this is sort of like, this is more than the S&P 500. I wouldn't recommend the Vanguard Total Market because it's got the good with and the bad. I think that really the index fund that you want to possibly look at instead of the Vanguard Total Market. Now, here's the way to deal with an index fund. If the market is in a confirmed uptrend, you want to be 100% invested in that particular index fund, especially if it's a broad fund like the VTI. If the market changes to a market trend under pressure, you want to sell half of it, keep it in cash, and then as the market changes to a correction, and I think we're due for one, then you want to go all cash and wait for it to return back to its back to a confirmed uptrend. I want to show you probably one of the biggest ETFs in the world. It's called the Spider, and even that's pulled back, but it's pulling up today. So this is one you might want to consider as opposed to the VTI. It's called the Spider, and it's one of the largest ETFs in the world, and it has pulled up today. I'm showing you the daily chart. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit on that to see, if I can give you, kind of a look-see there. So let's zoom in. Okay, getting better with this. I'm still fumble fingers when it comes to this, but let's see if I can show you how the Spider is performing. You'll notice with the Spider is one of the most heavily traded ETFs in the world, and many of the programmatic traders key off of it. So typically, it rarely falls to it almost always reacts like this. It'll fall to an index and then it'll pull back up. That's exactly what happened today. It fell strongly, but the market has definitely recovered, and it has moved up to the 21-day, the 21-day exponential, and that's obviously right here, as we see. So that's right here is the 21-day line. That's this green line here, and essentially, earlier in today we were down, and now we're back up. So the thing, the thing about the VTI is the VTI is going to be less volatile than even the spider because it's the whole market. Whereas with the spider, you're getting basically the 500 largest companies. I do like the spider a little bit better than that. And obviously, if we're in a confirmed uptrend, you're going to get your best results probably with an even more limited index, such as the QQQ, which is the Nasdaq 100. So, as long as the market, here's the thing with a broad index, unlike the VTI, if the market is in a confirmed uptrend, we're still in a confirmed uptrend. But that may change, and if you're on the action trade alerts, I will tell you, I will send you an email if the market direction has changed. Basically, to subscribe to the action trade alerts, you just go to www Dallas Trading Floor and to sign up for it. And if there is a market, if the market changes its direction, then I will alert everyone. Basically, what I do to follow this is I use the Investor Business Daily characterization of the market. So with the VTI and a broad index, a fund like that, that's how you play it. As long as we're in a confirmed uptrend, you want to be 100% invested. If we're in a market trend under pressure, then you want to go to 50%. You want to sell half of it, and then if we go into a correction, because the corrections can go, and correction is a technical term. It's more than 10% from the high. So if we pull back more than 10%, then you want to go all to cash and wait for another uptrend. It seems as if that's what's happening in the market. There seems to be a lot of movement that way. So we seem to be getting a little bit a little bit a little bit long in the tooth. So thank you very much. Hi, Jim. Do you reckon the future price actions on Tesla will be correlated to Bitcoin? Cheers. Thank you. I don't think so. I think frankly it's a little bit of an overreaction, but as you know, probably Elon Musk is he bought in Bitcoin so that he could accept Bitcoin for payment for Teslas, and that is and what happened is, and here's the thing, and you've got to understand, the Federal Reserve and a lot of the banks around the world do not want to have something like Bitcoin out there because they cannot control it. So they slammed down on it hard. And that's part of the reason, we're starting to see some market manipulation relative to Bitcoin. I don't think that they're linked, but I do think that they, it's not that they're linked, but they're in the same pew, if that makes any sense. So here is the chart of Tesla. As you can see, it's moved down like that. Let's take a look at the GBTC and see if there's any correlation between the two. In terms of the chart, let's see if there was a big fall off today, and I believe there was. Yep, and there sure was. And so, if you can see, there was a big fall off in the GBTC. Big fall off from the GBTC, and so that's kind of what's going on. Let's see if we can see what the correlation is. Let me see if I can do that. Let's see. Goodness gracious, moving averages. Well, I don't know if I can do that. Well, I don't think I can do that. I can probably do that later, but I have to do it with the index keys. So I don't think it's going to be correlated, but I do think it's moving in the same direction, but it's definitely not. I don't think it's correlated. So that's a very good question. Hi, Jim. I stepped out of the ARK funds today. But with a 20% offers, did I sell out early? I think you did well. I think you did well, Gunnar. I think you did very, very well. I do think that some of the, everybody's following Kathy Woods right now, but I do think that that we're getting a rotation. Some of the big money is rotating out. So let's look at the chart for the ARK funds. This really kind of tells the tale. You can see how it fell off like that. Very, very similar chart pattern to Tesla. So definitely, Tesla is a very, very large component of the ARK funds. I think you did very well, Gunnar. Here's the thing. Of course, there's the old saying, you never lose by taking profits, or actually you can, but I think the fact that you've made 20 to 30% is great. The market, it hasn't changed its direction yet, but I feel like it is going to any day. So that's the reason I'm a little bit skittish right now. I do think we're going to see a pullback, but it hasn't happened yet. So I think you're wise to get into cash. I'm almost 90% in cash right now. And that's sort of where I'm looking. What I'm looking is, I do think there's going to be a pullback. I want to be ready so that I can buy when when we get the all clear and we start to base. Right now, I don't think that's the case. I think right now the market is saying, it's not ready. It's not yet ready to. It may be pulling back a little bit. So I think that, Gunnar, that you're you're good. You're good on that. Hey JJ, no diagram. Did I not? Did I not? Maybe I didn't put up the ARK Invest. There we go. Is that ARK? Yeah, there is ARK, the ETF, ETF ARK. Yeah, a pullback. So I guess I wonder why you can't see that. Maybe I am having some issues with my feed today, so I'm sorry about that. All right, Workhorse just dropped 50%. This is the reason, everybody. It's so important to be using those stop losses, not because it's fun, not because it's fun, but because it can really save your bacon sometimes. I mean, I sold out of Tesla not because not because any great insight, was because I had stop losses at the at the 40-day line. So that's why I did it. So let's take a look again at Workhorse, kind of to see. Yeah, it basically took a swan dive off the bridge here. It just went all the way down. That's not looking good. It does look like after hours though it's bounced up. So obviously somebody big sold out, and now they're now they're coming back. Is it a short squeeze? Well, let's take a look to see. I would be surprised if it was, but this is the weekly chart. It's it definitely, what happened is it fell right below that 200-day line. So I do believe that it's going to trade up to the $200 the 20-day line. So possibly tomorrow you might be able to make a little bit of quick cash here if you buy it up to about 20. I would be a buyer at this price, 16.75 on up to about 20. But this is going to happen quickly. I do believe it is going to adjust to the 21-day line. That's to the 200-day line. Typically, the bounce off the 200-day line is one of the better opportunities to buy something. So right now, it's essentially you could buy it up to about 20. So here's the here's the thing with Workhorse. I do believe it looks like it's going to bounce. Let's look at the short interest. It's got a 30% short interest. So 1 out of 3 stocks, 1 out of 3 shares, excuse me, is short on this one. So this one could reverse, but at least for right now, it's being shorted heavily. Earnings in 7 days. So not you could make a little bit of change on this one. It'd be tough. This is sort of a day trade. Buying it, it looks like it's moving up, but only slightly. It looks like it has a floor at about this 1650 level. So the floor is right about here. This is the floor. It's now moved up after hours, as you can see. So it probably will open higher, but I wouldn't hold this thing right now anything more than about 20. This is the reason why you really need always to remember to set your stop losses. This is just a big deal. I know I just harp on it, and everybody's just give me a break. But remember, put the 7%. The 7% rule, and that's just something that it's out there, and you just always want to sell if something is pulled back that way, even if it's painful, because that's gonna sometimes save your bacon, give you the ability to come back and come back and not have had everything moved against you there. All right, so let's see. Snap jumped in. Oh, interesting. Snap. Okay, Snap jumped in. That's interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, okay, Pinterest. Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing, GK. Be careful with these SPACs. I mean, really do. Be careful with the SPACs because, right now, I mean, yeah, they might be in flying cars. There might be a market for it in the future, but I think that, it'd be a while. That's one of the things I get. I think be, uh, um, you're right. Even your system is down there. You are so right. I mean, I went to the big building today and they said, you know, our internet is up. Like, what the heck? So I'm home running off of my beautiful home-based, Comcast, Time Warner cable, the crappiest cable in the world system. So I apologize for that. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be up. Okay. Hey, Ruth. Thanks. Rich. I'm sorry. Hey, Rich. USPS gave the contract to Oshkosh instead of Workhorse. Well, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Oshkosh has a lot of good. They make a lot of good stuff. I mean, they make a lot of fire trucks and all that stuff. So Oshkosh can definitely, they're a big company. They're really good in the industrial vehicle market. That's the thing. It's so tough in these vehicle markets. The ones that don't have a retail presence, it's such a tough biz because, all it takes is one contract. That's it. And I mean, the U.S. Post Office contract is nothing but giant. So, yeah, just go figure. All right, what are your thoughts on CCVI now the Verger has with Lucid is at 35 shares? It's a good point, buy point. Well, Lucid has kind of been for a long time not a great stock. So, telecom equipment companies have just okay. CCIV. Okay, so this is a SPAC. Sorry, I gave you the wrong information. Another SPAC. You know what? I would stay away from this. The problem with SPACs. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I like to see what they're buying first. I can't. I wait until wait until they have a deal and wait until they've traded a while. So I would not recommend. I just wouldn't recommend. Now, I know a lot of people are making money in SPACs but I'm definitely not one of them. I'm a little bit old fashioned, so I wouldn't buy. Don't buy. There's just so many other better ways to lose your money in the market than buying SPACs. I think SPACs sometimes I just can't really get excited about it. But don't buy it. Don't buy it, please. Don't buy that one because I think you're going to have issues regarding that because it's a SPAC and we don't know what SPACs are. All right, let's take a look on Pinterest. Thanks, Yad. Let's look at pins. P-I-N-S, pins, Pinterest. And of course there we go. There we go, Pinterest. Let's analyze that chart. There. Okay, well, we have 95. We pulled back to the line. We're after hours, so it's really kind of round-tripped it, hasn't it? Interesting enough. Okay, so here's what we got. Basically, with this just shows you how sometimes how how fragile this is. But I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit and on the daily chart here. So let's kind of look at the action on this one to see. Yeah. Okay. So what happens is it pulled way back. It pulled down to the 21-day line and then overreacted. And then boom, it just moved up. So that's actually a good sign. Pinterest. That's a good volume spike on there. We had been on a declining volume, but now if we go up, so this is actually a good sign. It looks like it. If it can hold the 10-day line, which is where it is right now, this might be worth holding on to. This is kind of the first positive comment I've had sort of today. This is actually looking very good. 100%. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I think this is definitely viable, and I think. This looks good. You're right to be almost all in cash right now. This is the most. I tell you, right now, these times when there's a transition, these are the most difficult times when you're trading because you just have to sit there in your hands with all this cash. You want to buy something, you want to make something happen. You're a proactive person, but it in these kind of markets, you kind of have to hold back, and it's very, very, very hard. Let me tell you, this is the hardest thing to do is to hold back. But when we get clear direction in the market, if we do have a correction, Siad, there's going to be opportunity city. So we want to kind of be very, very careful on entering positions right now. I believe that we are due for a correction, and it's not a bad thing. It has to happen. I think we are due for. So even though I really like this, I really like Pinterest. I really like I like the setup. I want to see a true base, and right now it just isn't there. So I would say sit in cash a little bit. You know, s- uh, Sit in cash. So that's what I would recommend. Sit in cash right now until we have a clear signal. In a clear signal. It's really hard to do. It's the hardest thing probably to do. All right. So shares jumps in investment. Yeah. But let's see how Pinterest trades tomorrow to see. But I wouldn't buy it right now. Of course, it's after hours, so you can buy it, but there's no reason to. See how it trades. And this is a great comment, Rich. Thank you for that. With Oshkosh getting the contract. All right. So Oshkosh went at the same time as yeah. Okay, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a binary world sometimes. Okay. So okay, I don't know. Here's the thing, Kevin, on these SPACs. I think you just got to wait until they start trading, and get a little bit of and get a little bit of you know get a little bit of ramp on them. It's just very difficult. Let's look at Fubo, Matthew, FUBO. Let's look at that. FUBO. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Swan dive. Unfortunately, this is the daily chart. Let's look at the let's look at the monthly to kind of see here. Yeah, it's broken down through this key level. This and a lot of stocks are doing this right now, so this is not unusual. It's just broken down through that key level. I just and I just right now it's earnings in 7 days. It's just you can't. The checklist is good. Just watch this one. Unfortunately, uh, it could be good in the future, but I think what you got to do is watch list this one. I think you just have to watch list this. That's really the only place to go with Fubu, because it's pulled back too much. Let's see if it bases. You just don't want to catch that falling knife. That's a main thing. So we just want to do that. All right. What about SPACs from Klamath or Bill Ackerman, big backers? Here's the thing about Bill Ackerman. Hey, if you're a billionaire, well, you can do a lot of things, but Bill Ackerman is the biggest baby in the world. No, I mean seriously. I remember when the market was pulling back. This was right before the COVID downturn happened, and he got on CNBC, and he just was crying and saying, "Oh, the world's coming to the end," while he was shorting the market. I think the guy's a snake. My opinion. I wouldn't buy anything from him. I wouldn't buy a used car from him, to be honest. So that's my opinion. Anyways, let's look at iPod, IPOD, IPOD. Yeah. So hopefully I won't get banned for that because he's bigger and badder than I am. That's for sure. But Bill Ackerman is whatever. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is kind of a this is a new this is called Social Cap. I don't know this one. Interesting. So I guess it's kind of like a example. Okay, Social Cap. So what it says? Okay, so we're a blank check company. Yeah. See that it's okay. I mean, I know that people are pushing the SPACs like huge right now, but basically, I'm old enough to remember, and I'm old enough to remember a lot of things. They used to do these things called blind pools, and this is a penny stock technique. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I typically don't buy stocks under $10. And the reason is because these stocks are highly manipulated. This is just a kind of a penny stock manipulation on steroids. So I think you got to be super duper careful when it comes to blank cycle. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm just saying, but it's sort of like, if you're in a bad neighborhood, don't go knocking on doors. That's the kind of thing. So that's my thing about SPACs. I just stay away from them. There's other better places to be. All right. Thank you. Mango Pickle. I like that. 1, 2, 3. Let's look for entry point on Apple. That would be great if, it's funny, since I don't know if you've been watching me for a while, but I did a special about 5 weeks run up on how to trade, Apple through the stock split, and that was very successful up until the time it stock split. But it just has never really made its way back to the land of the living. And I don't know what's going on with it, but Warren Buffett's dumped a huge chunk of it. And while I'm not a value investor, Warren Buffett's great and all that. I'm not a value investor. I think that he might be right on this one. It's a great company. I use Apple equipment all the time, but I just think that it's just it's a little bit over its skis, and it's going to be tough to come up with a good buy point. That said, the last buy point on it was a cup formation, third stage at 137.98. Now we're at 125. So here's the thing with Apple: we just have to wait. Unfortunately, and this sucks because I don't like sitting on cash either. I mean, I want to put it to work, but I just don't think you want to buy it at this point. I think it's going to pull back further when it starts to move higher. And I have an alert set on it, by the way, that I have an alert, right? But it's below the 20-minute. Let's see if it bounces off of the 200-day moving average. I don't know if it will. That's right here. I'm drawing that here. Let's see if it will. It will pull back down, but it's got to get down to about 115 in order for it to pull back to the 200-day line. So right now, I can't recommend it. There's no real good buy point. The RS rating is pulling down. It's still a great company. I'm not selling my iPhone, that's for sure. It's a great thing, but there's just no good buy point on Apple, at least right at this moment. So sorry to tell you that. Okay, Clover, CLOV. Let's look at it real quick. CLOV is the symbol. CLOV. Pull that one up. Yeah, Clover Health. Okay, it's essentially a fairly new stock. So let's look at the weekly. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, it had two sort of it was looking good, and then all of a sudden, boom, it took a swan dive. And why is that? Okay, well, it is moving down lower. Relative strength is 30. Earnings to sales, avoid this one. Just avoid it. Checklist is 33. Ownership, terrible. That's painful to say, but just, it's time to avoid, I think it's just, just don't buy this one. Yeah, just don't buy it. I think this is not a good stock right now. So not the greatest thing. All right. Well, we're almost to the end. So let me see if I can get another question from TikTok. How long is it going to take to come backwards? I don't know what that means. All right. I'm looking at the TikTok right now. What about Workhorse? Here's the thing about Workhorse is, as one of our great people online said, what happened was Workhorse lost a huge contract for the United States Postal Service. They were in the running with Oshkosh. OSH, got the contract. Their stock is looking super. Workhorse, not so much. So I think that it's one of those binary events sometimes that it's tough to guard against. Here's the question: which crypto is good to buy now? Well, I still think that Bitcoin is the best. Of course, it's the most expensive. I think a lot of people, have gotten doggy coin and all that stuff, and some people have made money. But I still think that if you're in the crypto buy, if you're in crypto land, the best one is GBTC. It's off significantly. The reason I like the GBTC is because it's traded over. It's an exchange traded fund. They have about 4% of the world's Bitcoin, and it tends to be a proxy for the price, but it's easy to get in and out of. With Bitcoin, basically, I think Bitcoin has fallen right now to about 45,000 per Bitcoin. I think it was up to 53. It's pulled back. Very, very volatile, but hard to get in and out of it, those prices. The GBTC lets you buy one share, and we were talking about $50 a share or less. So not a whole lot of money and easy to get in and out. So that can be a very good thing. All right, let's snap down because I sold the 65 naked put some money. Yeah, Brian, I feel your pain. Here's the thing. I typically, with the higher price stocks, I just typically try either do spreads or cover calls. And part of the reason is protection. I just want to have an exit strategy in terms of, in terms of things. So that's kind of my take on it. With that. Well, it has come to an hour here, and I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I mean, geez, hopefully we'll get everything going. We'd really appreciate it, of course, if you did subscribe to me on YouTube. It's super easy. All you have to do is go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And of course, I would really appreciate it if you like me and subscribe. That would be great. Very, very good. Also, I have a thing called the Action Trade Alerts, and they are easy, and you can they're totally free. So in order to get that, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and sign up for the Action Trade Alerts. Now, if you're looking at on TikTok, it's super easy to get on the list for the Action Trade Alerts. All you have to do is go to my profile, click the link, it says Beacons, and then just do the first and last name and an email address, and we'll get you all set up, totally free. Unsubscribe anytime you like. And I put out trades. Typically, I put stuff out. I'm trying to get more frequent. I put a trade alert out today, and hopefully I'll have one out tomorrow as well. So until tomorrow at 2:30, I hope everybody is getting is doing well. And so until then, happy trading.